guys, Adam here from Kinetix Physiotherapy. I'm here with a video this time about lower back pain and some exercises and things you can do at home to help try and relieve it if you're struggling with lower back pain. So this video is going to include just some lower back pain, a stretch and mobility routine, as well as a few strengthening exercises which will help with just the general aches and pains that you get in your lower back. If you've been sitting for too long, a lot of us are, now that we're working from home in this new lockdown at the start of 2021 in the UK, and lots of people working from home starting to suffer for those little achy backs, especially towards the end of the day in the lower back. This can really help. It's not going to be for any specific diagnosis, it's just going to be for some sort of general lower back pain and mobility routine. And this is Pickle as well. She's going to be joining us on the video because she's fallen asleep right next to my mat. Right, so to start with, I'm just going to have to move you over a little bit. There we go. Right, the first exercise we're going to look at is called a pelvic tilt. So what you want to do is lay down on your back. You can do this either on the bed or you can do this on the floor like me. So you want to have your knees bent, and essentially what you're going to do is you're going to tilt the pelvis, just try and squash your lower back against the bed and get rid of this gap underneath here. So either you can put your hands underneath here if you want to, or if you prefer not to, you can have your hands by your side. But if you have your hands underneath there, I want you to essentially try and squash those hands with your lower back. So as I'm putting that pressure on, you can see that my pelvis here is tilting, and that's the movement we're looking for, to try and squash the lower back against the bed, and then hold for some 3 to 5 seconds, and then relax. Again, you can squash your hands here if you want a reference point, and then relax. And then tilting the pelvis, squashing down, and then relax. So you want to try and aim to do between 8 and 12 of those, depending on how you're feeling. If you're having a particularly sore day for the back, just do what's comfortable. With all of these exercises, it should be a case of working with discomfort rather than pain. Don't push through any significant pain barriers. So the next exercise, once we've done sort of our 8 to 12 pelvic tilts, is we're going to look at a bridge. So you have your hands by your side here. You almost start with a bit of a pelvic tilt, and then what you do is you continue it, leading with the hips, coming up, so that there's a straight line from your shoulders all the way down to your knees, and then come back down in the opposite direction. So you want to go rolling the back down. So you want to go down vertebra by vertebra. You don't want to just suddenly flop yourself down. You want to go up in a controlled way, sort of peeling the spine off of the mat or off of the bed, and then rolling it back down the opposite way. Okay, really take your time and do this in a controlled way. So going up and then going back down. Again, if you can manage between 8 and 12 of these, you're doing really well. So after this, we're going to look at a stretching based exercise. So we're going to look at knee hugs. So you straighten the knees here. Going to pick a leg. You can do both legs. I would suggest doing both, but we're going to just look at this my right one to start with. And then what I want you to do is hold onto the leg. I would suggest grabbing underneath the knee, just because if you have any trouble with your knee and you start pulling on it and compressing it there, it might get a bit sore. That's all. So I like to hold underneath here and then try and pull your knee up towards your chest here. So relax back down here, pull that knee up towards your chest, and you should feel a stretch in this part of the lower back here. So again, just going with discomfort, most of the discomfort. It shouldn't be painful, these exercises. So holding the knee to the chest, and I want you to try and hold this for about 30 seconds, okay? And then relax it back down and swap over to the other leg. So underneath the knee, pulling the knee up towards the chest, and then that 30-second hold. Coming back down. So if you can manage 3 to 5 repetitions of the more stretching based exercises like the knee hugs, it's really going to help. So moving on to our fourth exercise, both knees are going to be bent again, and then you bring your knees and your feet together. So you're going to then bring your hands out almost so you're in a T position with your arms crossing the T here, and then you're going to keep your feet in contact with the mat, and then just bring your knees to the side, again as far as you're comfortable with, and then slowly over to the other side. taking your time. Trying to do 5 times to each side, just nice and slowly. Don't worry about getting all the way to the floor. Just do what's comfortable. And you can do it even slower than I'm doing it now. So just going over to that point where you start to feel a bit of tension, and then coming back nice and slowly. Moving on to the next one, we're going straight in the knee, and we're going to build on that knee hug that we were doing earlier. So what I want you to do is bring one knee up towards your chest. So I'm looking at my right knee, or my right leg. Left hand is going to grab the outside of that right knee, and then you're going to essentially put it across you. This arm's going to come out to stabilise you, so just try and pull it as far as you're comfortable with. You should start to feel a stretch around this area here. So just go as far as you're comfortable with. Don't worry about getting towards the floor. You can roll the pelvis with it, and then holding that stretch again for around 30 seconds. And if you can manage up to 5 repetitions of this, it'd be fantastic on each side as well. So make sure with these individual leg stretches like the knee hugs, and this one where you're bringing the leg across, try to do both sides. It really help. So then what we're going to do for the final 2 exercises, then going to go over onto hands and knees here. Have your arms far out in front of you here, and then you're going to sit back onto your heels here. This should be a really nice stretch for the lower back. This is more of a yoga based stretch, a yoga move here, and you're going into child's pose. But again, holding it for that 30 seconds. And then, or if it starts to get a bit uncomfortable, just come out of it here, back into all fours, and then come back down again. And then for the final stretch, what I want you to do is come back into that all fours position, and then you're going to move down to your front. So you're going to place your hands on the mat here. I'm just going to move it a little bit further over just so we can see. So, have your hands on the mat either side of you here. Use them to just push yourself up just until you feel a bit of a stretch in the lower back here. So either you can do this mini cobra, or if you're feeling brave and you have a bit more, or that's not really getting much of a stretch out of it, then shuffle forwards and straighten the elbows so you go right up into that stretch there. Manage 5 repetitions, so hold it for 30 seconds, come back down, have a breather, have a rest, and then coming back up. Between 3 and 5 repetitions, just holding it for that 30 seconds, and then coming back down. And if you can manage that on a daily basis, especially during this lockdown when everyone's working from home, everyone's sitting at very unconventional desks most of the time, it'll really help with getting the mobility in there and help with just some general aches and pains in the lower back as well. Maybe you've pulled a muscle slightly in the lower back, it'll help stimulate a bit of blood flow and help with that healing. So if you found some value in this video and you found it useful, please leave a like. It really helps me. It helps spread the word as well. And if you could share it and subscribe as well, again, it would really help. And if there's anything you want me to cover in the future, leave a comment below, and I can incorporate it or do a future video on it. If not, just message me directly. Again, I'll get back to you, and I'm happy to produce any videos on things that you guys want specifically as well. Alright, and I will see you in the next video. Alright, thanks guys.